I need to tell you something that will shake you to your very core. Right now, at this very moment, there are women over 60 standing at the edge of a cliff they don't even know exists. They're opening their hearts again, feeling that flutter of possibility, that warmth of connection. And they have absolutely no idea that they're about to step into the most dangerous spiritual trap of their entire lives. And the worst part? The world is celebrating their blindness, cheering them on as they walk straight into devastation. I am Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, and for 2,000 years, the secrets I've carried have been sealed in the Zohar, waiting for this exact moment when you need them most. What I'm about to reveal to you today could save you from a destruction so complete, so absolute, that you may never recover from it. And I don't say this to frighten you. I say this because I have seen, through the divine light of Kabbalah, what happens when a woman ignores these sacred truths. Let me paint you a picture. You're 63 years old. Your marriage ended 5 years ago, maybe through divorce, maybe through death. You've done the work. You've healed, or so you think. You've learned to enjoy your own company. You've traveled alone. You've built friendships. You've rediscovered parts of yourself you thought were buried forever. And then one day, in a book club, at a community center, through a dating app your daughter convinced you to try, you meet him. He's kind. He listens. He makes you laugh in a way you haven't laughed in decades. He looks at you like you're not invisible, like you're not just someone's mother or grandmother. He looks at you like you're a woman. And something ancient inside you awakens. Something you thought was dead. Your heart, that scarred, cautious heart, begins to open like a flower toward the sun. This is the moment of greatest danger in your entire life. And nobody, not your friends, not your family, not the romance novels and movies that glorify late-life love, nobody is telling you the truth. They're all lying to you. They're telling you that love at 60 is beautiful, that it's a second chance, that you deserve this happiness. And while there is truth in those words, there is also a concealed blade. Because what they're not telling you is that falling in love after 60, when you do it without the proper spiritual preparation, without understanding the Kabbalistic laws that govern human connection, will destroy you in ways that your younger self could have survived, but your current self cannot. Listen to me carefully. If you open your heart to love again without understanding what I'm about to teach you, one of 3 catastrophic outcomes awaits you. First, you will give everything you have left, every ounce of energy, every resource, every emotional reserve, to a man who will take it all and leave you with nothing. And at 65 or 70, you don't have time to rebuild. Second, you will attract a relationship so toxic, so parasitic, that it will drain the very life force from you, accelerating your aging, your illness, your decline. Or third, and this is perhaps the cruelest, you will find real love, beautiful love, and then lose it. And the grief will be so overwhelming that you'll wish you had never opened your heart at all. The pain of losing love at 60 is not the same as losing it at 30. At 30, you have time. At 60, every loss feels final. But here's what terrifies me most, what keeps me awake in the eternal realm where I dwell. Right now, as I speak these words, there is a man out there. Maybe you've already met him. Maybe you will meet him next week. And he is going to seem perfect. He's going to say exactly what your wounded soul needs to hear. He's going to fill the empty spaces in your life with such precision that you'll think it's divine providence. You'll think God sent him to you as a reward for all your suffering. and you will hand him your heart, your trust, your vulnerability, your bank account, your home, your peace of mind. And when he's taken everything he came for, he will vanish. Or worse, he will stay and slowly poison everything beautiful you've built in your solitude. And here's the part that will break you. While he moves on to his next victim, while he finds another lonely woman to deceive, you will be left trying to pick up pieces that are too small to gather. You'll look in the mirror and see someone you don't recognize, someone who was foolish enough to believe again, to hope again. And the shame of that will eat you alive. I can see some of you right now, thinking I'm being dramatic, thinking that love is always worth the risk. You're thinking about that man you just met, how different he is, how he couldn't possibly be like the others. You're already making excuses for red flags you've noticed, already convincing yourself that your intuition is wrong, that you're just being paranoid or damaged from your past. This is exactly how the klipot, the shells of darkness, work. They make you doubt your own divine wisdom. They make you think that caution is fear and that surrender is faith. Let me tell you something that will chill you. Every woman who has been destroyed by love after 60 thought exactly what you're thinking right now. Every single one. They all believed their situation was different. They all believed their man was special. They were all wrong. And it gets worse. Much worse. Because if you don't learn what I'm about to teach you, if you don't understand the Kabbalistic principles of mature love, you're not just risking your own destruction. You're modeling devastation for your daughters, your granddaughters. They're watching you. They're learning from you. When you accept less than you deserve, when you ignore your intuition, when you sacrifice your peace for the illusion of companionship, you're teaching them to do the same. Your failure to protect yourself becomes their inheritance of pain. Can you live with that? Can you look your granddaughter in the eye 20 years from now and watch her make the same mistakes because you showed her that a woman's value is determined by whether or not she has a man? But here's what should terrify you even more than being hurt by someone else. What if you succeed? What if you find real love? What if this man is genuine, kind, committed? Do you understand what you're about to face then? The fear of loss becomes a daily companion. Every time he's late coming home, every time he mentions feeling tired, every time he gets a cough that lasts too long, you'll panic. Because you know, in the deepest part of your soul, that time is not on your side. You might have 10 good years if you're lucky, maybe 15, but probably less. And every day of happiness will be shadowed by the knowledge that this ending is coming, that you're going to have to say goodbye again, that you're going to have to bury love again. Is your heart strong enough for that? Can you handle falling completely, deeply, wholly in love, knowing that the clock is ticking louder than it ever has before? Now, I want you to think about something even more disturbing. What if, in your eagerness to fill the void, in your desperate need to prove that you're still desirable, still relevant, still alive, you choose the wrong person? What if you ignore every warning sign because you're more afraid of being alone than being with someone who diminishes you? I have seen this countless times in my observations of human souls. A woman at 60 meets a man who is emotionally unavailable, who has a pattern of abandoning women once they become inconvenient, who drinks too much or gambles or lies about small things. She sees these things. Her friends see these things. Her children definitely see these things. But she's so grateful that someone wants her, so relieved that she won't have to face the rest of her years alone, that she convinces herself these issues are manageable. She tells herself that love conquers all, that she can change him. that he'll be different with her. 2 years later, maybe 3, she's sitting in a lawyer's office or a therapist's office or an emergency room, wondering how she got here. He's drained her savings. He's turned her children against her. He's eroded her confidence so thoroughly that she barely remembers who she was before she met him. And now she's 70, and she has to start over again. But this time with even less energy, less money, less faith. This time, she's not just alone. She's defeated. Do you understand what I'm telling you? The wrong love at 60 doesn't just hurt you. It ends you. It takes whatever time you have left and turns it into a prison sentence you can't escape. And here's something nobody talks about, something that will make you deeply uncomfortable. What if he finds someone else? What if you open your heart, you trust, you build a life together? And then he meets someone, younger, someone with fewer health issues, someone who requires less patience. What if you become a burden to him before you ever got to enjoy the fruits of your commitment? I know this sounds cruel. I know you want to believe that true love is loyal, that mature people don't behave this way. But I have to tell you the truth that nobody else will. Men leave women over 60 every single day. They trade them in for newer models. They justify it by saying they want adventure, freedom, passion. And the woman is left destroyed, not just by the abandonment, but by the humiliation of it. Everyone knows. Her friends know. Her family knows. The people at her place of worship know. She becomes a cautionary tale, the woman who believed in love and got burned. Can your ego survive that? Can your spirit recover from that level of public failure? Because make no mistake, at 60, everyone is watching your choices with particular interest. They're all wondering if you're going to be wise or foolish, if you're going to maintain your dignity or lose it in a desperate grab for relevance. And when it goes wrong, and they see you've been used or abandoned or betrayed, some of them will pity you. But others, and this is the hardest truth, others will feel validated in their belief that women over 60 who seek romance are delusional. You will become proof that it's better to accept invisibility than to risk humiliation. But it's not just about him leaving. It's about what you'll sacrifice to keep him. Because here's what happens. You meet him, you fall in love, and slowly, almost imperceptibly, you start changing yourself to accommodate him. You stop seeing friends he doesn't like. You give up activities that take time away from him. You start dressing differently, speaking differently, even thinking differently, all to keep his interest. And before you know it, the woman you worked so hard to become after your marriage ended, that independent, self-sufficient, authentic woman, she disappears. You've erased yourself to make room for his needs, his preferences, his comfort. And when he inevitably disappoints you, when he proves to be just another flawed human being, you'll look around and realize you've lost not just him, but yourself. And that loss, that profound disconnection from your own soul, is worse than any breakup could ever be. Let me tell you about the spiritual mechanics of what's happening here. Because this is where Kabbalah reveals truths that psychology cannot touch. When you fall in love after 60, you are not the same vessel you were at 30 or 40. Your soul has been marked, shaped, sometimes shattered by decades of experience. You carry wounds that never fully healed, disappointments that calcified into core beliefs, traumas that rewired your nervous system. And whether you know it or not, these wounds are active. They're broadcasting a signal into the universe, attracting specific types of people and situations. If your wounds are around abandonment, you will attract men who leave. If your wounds are around worthiness, you will attract men who make you prove your value. This is not punishment. This is spiritual law. Like attracts like. Frequency attracts frequency. And here's what makes this so dangerous at 60. You don't have the luxury of multiple attempts to get it right. At 30, you could afford to date the wrong person for a year, learn your lesson, and move on. At 60, a year is precious. 2 years is significant. 5 years could be a quarter of the time you have left. Every choice carries exponentially more weight. Every mistake costs more. You cannot afford to learn through trial and error anymore. You must learn through wisdom. You must understand the laws before you enter the game. Otherwise, you're gambling with stakes you cannot afford to lose. So why is nobody telling you this? Why are your friends encouraging you to put yourself out there without preparing you for the battlefield you're entering? Why are there 1,000 articles about finding love after 60, but almost none about the specific dangers, the unique vulnerabilities, the catastrophic mistakes that women your age make? I'll tell you why. Because our culture is obsessed with the fantasy of romance. We worship at the altar of love conquers all. We're addicted to happy endings. And we're terrified of telling women, especially older women, that some risks aren't worth taking, that some dreams should be examined before they're pursued, that protection is more important than passion. We'd rather see you get hurt than admit that love is not always the answer. But I am not bound by these cultural lies. I am bound by truth. And the truth is that you are walking into the most spiritually vulnerable period of your entire life. Your defenses are down. Your loneliness has made you negotiable. Your desire to be seen, to be wanted, to matter to someone in an intimate way, has created an opening that can be exploited. And there are people out there, both conscious predators and unconsciously wounded souls, who will find that opening and use it. They will drain your energy, your resources, your hope. And they will do it while telling you they love you. Now I feel your fear rising. I feel your resistance. Some of you are thinking about clicking away from this video right now because what I'm saying is too heavy, too dark, too scary. But don't you dare leave, because everything I've told you so far has been setting the stage for what comes next. I've shown you the danger not to paralyze you, but to prepare you. I've revealed the darkness not to keep you in it, but to show you how to find the light. There is a way through this. There is a path to love after 60 that doesn't destroy you, but it requires you to understand secrets that have been hidden for millennia, spiritual technologies that can protect your soul while opening your heart. And that's what I'm about to give you now. Before I reveal these secrets, I need you to understand something crucial about your current state. Right now, whether you realize it or not, you are emanating a specific frequency into the universe. This frequency is determined by your internal state, your beliefs about yourself, your unresolved wounds, your level of spiritual development. And this frequency is like a beacon, calling to it people and situations that match its vibration. If you are emanating lack, you will attract takers. If you are emanating fear, you will attract controllers. If you are emanating unworthiness, you will attract people who confirm that belief. This is not mystical nonsense. This is how energy works. This is how souls connect. And until you understand and transform your frequency, you will keep attracting the same painful patterns, no matter how many different men you meet. Here's what most women don't understand. The desire to fall in love again after 60 is not always coming from a healthy place. Sometimes, often, it's coming from terror. Terror of aging alone. Terror of becoming irrelevant. Terror of spending holidays by yourself. terror of getting sick with nobody to take care of you, terror of dying without someone holding your hand. These fears are human, they're valid, they're understandable, but they are also the worst possible foundation for a relationship. When you seek partnership from a place of fear, you will make fear-based choices. You will settle. You will ignore red flags. You will sacrifice your peace for the illusion of security. And you will end up in exactly the situation you were trying to avoid. So the first secret, the first protection I offer you, is this. Before you can safely love another, you must fall in love with your solitude. Not just accept it, not just tolerate it. Fall in love with it. You must reach a place where you genuinely prefer your own company to bad company, where you would rather eat dinner alone than share a table with someone who doesn't nourish your soul, where you would rather sleep in an empty bed than lie next to someone who makes you feel lonely. This is not about becoming cold or closed. This is about becoming discerning. This is about valuing yourself so completely that you refuse to betray yourself for the comfort of companionship. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, but Rabbi, I've already done that. I've already learned to be alone. That's why I feel ready for relationship now. But have you really? Or have you just gotten used to the pain of loneliness? Have you truly transformed your solitude into something sacred? Or have you just built a life that functions without partnership while secretly yearning for it every day? There's a difference. A profound difference. A woman who has truly embraced her solitude radiates completion. She doesn't need a man to validate her existence. She wants companionship, perhaps, but she doesn't need rescue. And that difference, that subtle but powerful energetic difference, determines everything about who she attracts and how the relationship unfolds. Let me give you a practice, a meditation that comes directly from the Zohar. Every morning when you wake up, before you check your phone, before you think about your day, I want you to place your hand on your heart and say these words. I am complete. I am whole. I am enough. My value is not determined by whether someone loves me. My worth is inherent, given by the Creator, unchangeable and eternal. Say this every single morning for 40 days. Don't skip a day. Don't rush through it. Feel the words. Let them sink into your cells, into your soul. This is not positive thinking. This is spiritual reprogramming. You are changing your frequency from lack to abundance, from need to completion. And when you operate from completion, you attract completely different people and circumstances. The second secret is this. You must understand the concept of soul correction, what we call tikkun in Kabbalah. Every soul comes into this world with specific lessons to learn, specific patterns to break, specific growth to achieve. And your relationships, especially romantic ones, are primary vehicles for this correction. The people you attract are not random. They are showing up to help you see what still needs healing within you. Now, here's what this means practically. If you've noticed patterns in your relationships, if you keep attracting the same type of man or experiencing the same type of problems, that's your soul trying to show you something. That's the universe saying, here is the lesson. Here is what needs to be corrected. Most women, when they notice these patterns, they blame the men. Why do I always attract narcissists? Why do I always end up with emotionally unavailable men? Why does nobody ever commit to me? And yes, these men have their own issues. But the question you must ask is not why are they like that, but why am I attracting them? What in me is a vibrational match for this pattern? What wound am I carrying that resonates with their woundedness? Until you answer these questions, until you do the deep, uncomfortable work of examining your own soul. You will repeat the same relationship again and again. Different face, different name, same essential dynamic. So before you open your heart to love again, you must identify your patterns. Write them down. Look at your past relationships, including your marriage. What were the common themes? Where did you compromise yourself? When did you ignore your intuition? What needs were you trying to get met through these men that you should have been meeting yourself? This requires brutal honesty. This requires you to stop being the victim in your own story and start being the creator. Because as long as you see yourself as just the recipient of other people's behavior, you remain powerless. But when you recognize your own role in these patterns, suddenly you have the power to change them. Here's the third secret, and this one might anger you, but I'm going to say it anyway because your soul needs to hear it. You cannot use a relationship to heal your wounds. You cannot use a man to make you feel worthy. You cannot use romance to prove that you're still attractive, still vital, still alive. That is using another human being as medicine for your own sickness. And it never, ever works. What happens instead is that you become dependent on them for your emotional well-being. You hand them the power to determine whether you have a good day or a bad day. You make your peace contingent on their behavior. And that is not love. That is addiction. That is parasitism. And it will destroy both of you. Real love, mature love, spiritually aligned love, only happens between two people who are already whole. Two people who don't need each other, but choose each other. Two people who enhance each other's lives without being essential to each other's survival. This is the only kind of love worth pursuing after 60. Anything else is just a complicated form of codependency that will leave you more wounded than you were before. So before you can safely engage in relationship, you must heal your wounds yourself. You must learn to give yourself the validation you're seeking from others. You must become your own source of worthiness, security, joy. Now, some of you are feeling overwhelmed. You're thinking, this is too much work. I just want to meet someone nice and enjoy my remaining years. Why does it have to be so complicated? And I understand that exhaustion. I do. You've already done so much work on yourself. You've already survived so much. The thought of more inner work, more examination, more healing, it feels like too much to ask. But let me reframe this for you. This work, this deep spiritual preparation, is not a burden. It's protection. It's the armor you need to navigate the battlefield of late-life romance without getting destroyed. Every hour you spend preparing yourself is an hour saved from potential heartbreak. Every bit of inner work you do now prevents years of suffering later. Think of it this way. Would you go into a war zone without training? Would you attempt to climb a mountain without preparation? Would you undergo major surgery without researching the surgeon? Of course not. You would prepare. You would educate yourself. You would take every precaution to ensure your safety and success. Why would you treat your heart any differently? Why would you treat your soul, the most precious thing you possess, with less care than you'd give to your body or your finances? The work I'm asking you to do is not punishment. It's wisdom. It's the difference between stumbling in the dark and walking in the light. Let me tell you about the fourth secret. And this one requires you to completely shift how you think about attraction and chemistry. In our culture, we worship the feeling of falling in love, that rush of excitement, that obsessive thinking, that feeling that you finally found your other half. We've been taught that this is what true love feels like. But I'm going to tell you something that contradicts everything you've been taught. Intense chemistry at the beginning of a relationship is often a warning sign, not a positive one. When you meet someone and you feel that overwhelming attraction, that immediate sense of connection, that feeling that you've known them forever, what's usually happening is that your wounds are recognizing their wounds. Your trauma is identifying their trauma. Your unresolved issues are saying, "Perfect, here's someone who will help me replay my favorite painful patterns." True compatibility, healthy attraction, sustainable love. These things develop more slowly. They feel calmer. They feel like coming home, not like a roller coaster. When you meet someone who is actually good for you, someone who is emotionally available, honest, consistent, and kind, you might not feel fireworks. You might actually feel a little bored at first. And that's when most women make their biggest mistake. They confuse the absence of drama with the absence of passion. They think that because it doesn't feel crazy and intense, it must not be real love. So they sabotage it. They leave it. They go back to seeking that high of intense chemistry, not realizing that they're actually addicted to their own trauma response. So here's what I need you to do. If you meet someone and you feel instant, overwhelming attraction, don't trust it. Slow down. Weigh down. Tell yourself that you're going to take at least 3 months before making any decisions about this person. During those 3 months, watch their behavior. Are they consistent? Do their words match their actions? How do they treat people who can't do anything for them, like waiters or customer service workers? How do they handle stress? What do their long-term friendships look like? What is their relationship with their adult children? These are the questions that matter, not whether they make your heart race. Conversely, if you meet someone who seems nice, but doesn't create that intense spark, don't dismiss them immediately. Give it time. Go on multiple dates. See how you feel after you've spent real time together. Often, the deepest, most lasting love grows from friendship and mutual respect, not from instant passion. This requires patience. This requires you to override your conditioning. This requires you to trust wisdom over feeling. But it's the only way to protect yourself from falling into the same painful patterns you've experienced before. The fifth secret is about boundaries. And this is where most women over 60 completely fail. You've spent decades, probably your entire adult life, being accommodating, being flexible, putting other people's needs before your own. You've been taught that this is what good women do, especially wives and mothers. But now, at 60 plus, if you bring this same pattern into a new relationship, you will be devoured. You will give everything and receive nothing. You will sacrifice your peace, your preferences, your very self. And the man will not only allow it, he will expect it. And then he will lose respect for you precisely because you have no boundaries. So before you enter into any romantic entanglement, you must get crystal clear on your non-negotiables. What behaviors will you absolutely not tolerate? What are your requirements for how you want to be treated? What do you need to feel safe, respected, valued? Write these down, not in your head, on paper. Make them real. Make them concrete. And then, and this is the part that requires courage, you must communicate these boundaries early and enforce them consistently. If someone violates a boundary, you don't explain it again. You don't give them another chance. You don't make excuses for them. You walk away, immediately, without guilt, without apology. I know this sounds harsh. I know you've been taught that love is about compromise and understanding. But listen carefully. Compromise is for preferences, not for boundaries. You can compromise on where to eat dinner or what movie to watch. You cannot compromise on how you are treated. You cannot negotiate your right to respect, honesty, consistency, and kindness. These are not optional features in a relationship. These are the foundation. Without them, the entire structure will collapse. And at your age, you don't have time to rebuild after a collapse. Here's what boundaries actually do in a healthy relationship. They create safety. They create trust. They create a container in which real intimacy can develop. A man who truly values you will not resist your boundaries. He will respect them. He will appreciate them, because they show him that you value yourself, which means you're capable of valuing him too. Only men who intended to use you, manipulate you, or take advantage of you will push against your boundaries. Those men are showing you exactly who they are. Believe them. Thank them for revealing themselves early. And walk away. Now let me address something that I know is on many of your minds. Sex. This is the elephant in the room that nobody wants to discuss openly, especially in spiritual contexts. But I'm going to talk about it because your soul's protection requires honesty. When you engage sexually with someone, you are not just exchanging physical pleasure. You are creating an energetic bond that connects your souls. In Kabbalah, we understand that sexual union is the most profound form of spiritual connection available to human beings. It is literally a reenactment of the union between the divine masculine and divine feminine. This is not something to be taken lightly. This is not recreational activity. When you have sex with someone, you absorb their energy. Their wounds become yours. Their darkness mixes with yours. If they are spiritually unclean, if they carry the energy of multiple other partners, if they are emotionally chaotic or manipulative, all of that transfers to you through sexual contact. And here's what makes this particularly dangerous after 60. Your energetic boundaries are more porous now. You're more sensitive. You're more vulnerable. What you might have been able to shake off at 30 could traumatize you at 65. A sexual encounter with the wrong person could leave you feeling depleted, confused, depressed for months. It could literally make you sick. So the rule must be this: no sexual intimacy until you have established deep trust, clear commitment, and energetic compatibility. I don't care what modern culture tells you about expressing your sexuality freely. I don't care if he makes you feel desired in a way you haven't felt in years. I don't care if you're afraid you'll lose him if you don't sleep with him. If you give your body before you've protected your soul, you will regret it. And the regret at 60 is not just emotional. It's existential. It's the feeling that you betrayed yourself at the exact moment when you needed to protect yourself most. How long should you wait? At least 6 months. I know that sounds like an eternity in our instant gratification culture, but 6 months gives you time to see who he really is. 6 months includes holidays, stressful events, conflicts, reconciliations. 6 months shows you patterns. 6 months allows the initial performance to drop and the real person to emerge. And if he can't wait 6 months, if he pressures you, if he makes you feel guilty or prudish or unreasonable, he's telling you everything you need to know. He's showing you that his desire for your body is more important than his respect for your boundaries. That is not a man worthy of your intimacy. The 6th secret is about discernment, and this requires you to develop what I call spiritual vision. You must learn to see beyond the surface, beyond what people present, into the reality of who they are. Most people are performing. They're showing you the version of themselves they think will be most attractive. They're hiding their flaws, managing their image, controlling the narrative. And they're doing this unconsciously most of the time. They genuinely believe they are who they're presenting. But the truth always reveals itself if you know how to look. Here's how you develop spiritual vision. You watch for congruence. You notice if their words match their actions over time. You pay attention to how they speak about their past relationships. If every ex was crazy, if they take no responsibility for any previous failures, that's a massive red flag. You notice how they treat people they don't need to impress. You observe their relationship with money, with alcohol, with technology. You ask questions about their childhood and listen carefully to what they reveal about their wounds. You introduce them to your friends and family and notice how they adapt to different social contexts. Most importantly, you trust your body. Your body knows before your mind does. If you feel tension, anxiety, unease around someone, even if you can't explain why, that's information. That's your soul warning you. But here's the problem. Most women ignore these warnings. They override their intuition with rationalization. I'm just being paranoid. I'm bringing my past into this. I'm being too judgmental. He deserves a chance. And every time you override your intuition, you teach yourself that your inner wisdom cannot be trusted. You train yourself to doubt the very instrument that's designed to keep you safe. Stop doing this. Your intuition is not your enemy. It's not your trauma. It's the voice of your highest self, your connection to divine wisdom. When it speaks, listen. Don't argue. Don't justify. Don't make excuses. Listen and act accordingly. Let me share something about the energetic reality of meeting someone new that most people don't understand. When two people come together, especially with romantic potential, there's an automatic exchange of information that happens on a soul level. Before words are spoken, before presentations are made, your souls are already communicating. Your soul is reading their soul, assessing compatibility, recognizing patterns, identifying dangers. This happens instantly, in the first few seconds of meeting. And your soul sends this information to your conscious mind through feelings, sensations, intuitions. The problem is that your conscious mind, with all its hopes and fears and conditioning, often refuses to accept this information. This is why you'll meet someone and immediately feel uncomfortable, but you can't explain why. He hasn't said anything inappropriate. He's been perfectly polite. But something feels off. That's your soul saying, this one is dangerous. Or conversely, you meet someone and you feel deeply at peace, even though on paper they might not seem like your type. That's your soul saying, this one is safe. This one is compatible. Learning to trust these soul-level communications is essential for your protection. And it requires you to value feeling over thinking, to trust wisdom over logic. Now, the seventh secret, and this one is crucial. You must understand the role of time in mature relationships. When you're younger, you have the luxury of letting relationships unfold slowly, of giving things time to develop, of being patient with someone's growth process. At 60 plus, you don't have that luxury. Time is your most precious resource. You cannot afford to waste years waiting for someone to become who they claim they want to be. You cannot invest in potential. You cannot date someone's future self. You must evaluate people based on who they are right now, today, in this moment. And if who they are right now is not good enough, you must walk away. No matter how much you like them, no matter how much chemistry you feel, no matter how lonely you are. This means you need to become very clear, very quickly, about what someone is offering and whether it matches what you need. Within the first 3 months of dating someone, you should know: are they emotionally available? Are they looking for the same type of relationship you are? Are they financially stable? Are they physically capable of being a true partner? Do they have unresolved addictions or mental health issues? What is their relationship with their ex-spouse? What is their relationship with their children? How do they envision their future? These are not invasive questions. These are practical necessities. And if someone is offended that you're asking them, that tells you everything you need to know. Here's a practice I want you to implement immediately. Create a timeline. Decide in advance how long you're willing to invest in getting to know someone before you need clear answers and clear commitment. For most women over 60, this timeline should be no more than 6 months. Within 6 months, you should know if this relationship has real potential or if you're wasting your time. This doesn't mean you get engaged in 6 months. It means that within 6 months, you have enough information to make an educated decision about whether to continue investing or to walk away. And if at the 6-month mark you're still confused, still unsure, still waiting for clarity, that confusion is your answer. Clarity feels like clarity. Uncertainty is a no. The 8th secret is about integration, and this is something almost nobody considers, but is absolutely critical. If you're going to bring someone new into your life at this stage, you must consider how they will integrate with the life you've already built. You have children, grandchildren, friends, routines, hobbies, commitments. Your life is already full. A new partner doesn't get to erase all of that and expect you to build everything around him. That's what you did in your 20s. That's not what mature love looks like. Mature love is about 2 full lives coming together and enhancing each other without either person disappearing. Before you get serious with anyone, you need to introduce them to the important people in your life and watch carefully how everyone interacts. Do your children feel comfortable around him? Do your friends trust him? Do you feel like yourself when you're with him and your family? Or do you feel like you're performing, managing, translating? These observations are critical. If you feel tension, if your people don't warm to him, if you find yourself making excuses for him or defending him constantly, pay attention. Your community has perspective that you don't have. They're not under the spell of infatuation. They can see things you can't see. Listen to them. Similarly, pay attention to how he talks about integrating you into his life. Does he want you to meet his children? Is he proud to introduce you to his friends? Does he make space for you in his schedule, his home, his future plans? Or are you being kept separate, compartmentalized, hidden? Some men at this age are looking for companionship without integration. They want someone to have dinner with, travel with, sleep with. But they don't want to actually merge lives. They want all the benefits of relationship without any of the responsibilities. If you're okay with that arrangement, fine. But be honest with yourself. Don't accept crumbs while pretending you're getting a feast. The 9th secret is about money. And I know this makes people uncomfortable, but we must discuss it. Money is energy. Money is freedom. Money is security. And at 60 plus, your financial stability is not negotiable. You cannot afford to be with someone who will drain your resources. You cannot afford to support a man who hasn't prepared for his own future. You cannot afford to be generous with someone who takes advantage of that generosity. I've seen too many women at this age lose their homes, their savings, their security because they were too polite, too trusting, too giving to protect themselves financially. Before you get seriously involved with anyone, You need to have honest, explicit conversations about money. How much do they have? What are their debts? What is their retirement situation? What are their financial expectations of partnership? Are they looking for someone to support them? Are they planning to ask you to combine finances? What happens if one of you gets sick and needs expensive care? These questions are not romantic, but they are necessary. And if someone refuses to have these conversations, if they act like discussing money is crude or unspiritual, they are hiding something. Financially secure people are not afraid to discuss finances. Here's a non-negotiable rule. Do not give money to, loan money to, or invest money with someone you're dating. Ever. No matter what the sob story is. No matter how temporary the situation is supposed to be. No matter how much they promise to pay you back. The moment you become someone's financial resource, the dynamic shifts. You're no longer equals. You're not partners. You're a bank, a mother, a savior. And that role will prevent real intimacy from ever developing. If someone truly values you, they will never ask you to compromise your financial security. They will never put you in a position where you have to choose between love and stability. The 10th secret, and we're getting close to the practical tools now, is about personal space and independence. One of the beautiful things about being over 60 is that you finally figured out who you are. You know what you like. You know how you want to spend your time. You've created routines that support your well-being. You've built a life that fits you. And any relationship you enter into must respect and preserve this hard-won autonomy. You're not looking for someone to complete you. You're not looking to be consumed by a relationship. You are looking for companionship that enhances the life you already love. This means you need to be very clear about your needs for alone time, for space, for independence. You need to communicate that you're not available every day, that you have commitments that don't include him, that you need time to recharge by yourself. And you need to watch how he responds to these boundaries. Does he respect them? Does he support your independence? Or does he get insecure, clingy, demanding? Does he make you feel guilty for wanting space? Does he interpret your need for solitude as rejection? These reactions tell you everything about whether he's emotionally mature enough for a healthy relationship. I want to be very clear about something. At this stage of life, you should never have to choose between a relationship and yourself. If someone is asking you to give up parts of yourself to be with them, they are the wrong person. Period. The right person will celebrate your wholeness. They will encourage your friendships, your hobbies, your passions. They will understand that a healthy relationship is made of two complete individuals who choose to share their lives, not two half people trying to become one. Never again settle for less than this. Now we're at the turning point. I've shown you all the dangers, all the traps, all the ways this can go wrong. I've revealed the spiritual mechanics of attraction and attachment. I've given you the secrets that protect your soul. But now comes the most important part. The practical steps you must take to actually find healthy, mature, spiritually aligned love after 60. These are not suggestions. These are requirements. If you want to avoid the catastrophes I've warned you about, you must implement these practices with absolute commitment. The first practice is radical self-honesty. Take out a journal and answer these questions with complete truthfulness. Why do I want a relationship? What am I hoping to gain? What am I trying to avoid? What wounds am I trying to heal through partnership? What did I learn from my previous relationship? What patterns do I keep repeating? What would I need to heal in myself to be truly ready for healthy love? Write until you've exhausted every answer. Then read what you've written as if you're reading about a stranger. What do you see? What stands out? Where is the work that still needs to be done? The second practice is energetic hygiene. Every day, you must clear your energy field of other people's emotions, expectations, and projections. Here's a simple technique. Visualize yourself standing under a waterfall of pure white light. See this light entering through the top of your head and flowing through your entire body, washing away everything that doesn't belong to you. As this light flows through you and into the earth, set the intention. I release all energy that is not mine. I return to my natural state of clarity and peace. Do this for 5 minutes every morning and every evening. This practice will strengthen your energetic boundaries and make you less susceptible to manipulation. The third practice is conscious dating. If you're going to meet new people, you must approach it as a sacred practice, not a desperate search. This means no dating apps unless you're willing to be extremely discerning. No saying yes to every invitation just because you're flattered. No continuing to see someone who doesn't meet your criteria just because they're paying attention to you. Every date should have a purpose. You're gathering information. You're assessing compatibility. You're watching for red flags. You're not performing or trying to impress. You're evaluating whether this person deserves access to your life. Here's a specific protocol for first dates. Keep them short, public, and low pressure. Coffee, not dinner. Daytime, not evening. 1 hour maximum. This allows you to assess the person without getting swept up in atmosphere or feeling trapped. Pay attention to your body during the date. Do you feel relaxed or tense? Energized or drained? Present or dissociated? These physical responses are information. Take notes after every date. Write down what was said, how you felt, what stood out. This creates a record you can review later when you're trying to make decisions. The fourth practice is patience and pacing. No matter how much you like someone, no matter how much chemistry you feel, you must move slowly. No daily communication in the first month. No introducing them to family or friends for at least 3 months. No sex for at least 6 months. No declarations of love until you've been through at least 1 full seasonal cycle together and seen how they behave in various circumstances. This pacing protects you from making decisions based on infatuation rather than reality. It gives you time to see beneath the performance to the actual person. The fifth practice is community involvement. Do not date in isolation. Make sure trusted friends and family know who you're seeing. Give them details. Ask for their observations and feedback. Create accountability. Have someone you check in with regularly about how the relationship is developing. This external perspective can save you from the blind spots created by attraction and hope. Your community can see red flags you're missing. They can remind you of your standards when you're tempted to lower them. They can support you in walking away if necessary. The sixth practice is continuous self-inquiry. As you're getting to know someone, keep asking yourself, do I feel more myself or less myself when I'm with this person? Am I growing or shrinking? Am I being encouraged or diminished? Do I feel safe or anxious? Am I giving more than I'm receiving? Am I trying to change them or accept them? These questions cut through fantasy and reveal truth. And you must be willing to act on the answers, even when it hurts, even when it means letting go of someone you're starting to care about. The seventh practice is spiritual alignment. Before you invest deeply in any relationship, you must assess whether this person shares your values, your spiritual path, your vision for life. You don't have to agree on everything, but the foundational principles must align. How do they relate to the divine? What is their moral framework? How do they treat people? What do they believe about love, commitment, service? If there are significant misalignments in these core areas, the relationship will always contain friction. You'll always be pulling in different directions. At 60 plus, you don't have energy for that kind of fundamental incompatibility. The eighth practice is financial protection. Keep your finances separate. Maintain your own bank accounts, your own credit, your own property. Do not co-sign loans. Do not make joint investments. Do not give access to your assets. You can build a life with someone without merging every aspect of your existence. Especially at this age, when you've likely accumulated what you'll need for the rest of your life. Protecting those resources is not selfishness. It's wisdom. It's ensuring that if the relationship ends, whether through death or divorce, you still have what you need to survive. The ninth practice is continuous reevaluation. Every 3 months, sit down by yourself and honestly assess the relationship. Is it still serving you? Is it still healthy? Are you still growing? Is this person still showing up in ways that honor you? Are your needs being met? Are you happy more often than you're anxious? This regular check-in prevents you from staying in something out of inertia or investment fallacy. Just because you've already given 6 months doesn't mean you have to give another 6 if the relationship isn't working. Your time is too precious to waste on something that isn't genuinely fulfilling. The 10th practice is maintaining your other relationships. Never make a romantic partner the center of your life. Continue investing in friendships. Continue being present for your children and grandchildren. Continue pursuing your interests and passions. Maintain your community connections, your spiritual practices, your creative outlets. A healthy relationship should expand your life, not replace it. If you find yourself gradually withdrawing from other connections to accommodate a partner, that's a warning sign. That's the beginning of isolation, which is the beginning of losing yourself. Now I want to address those of you who are thinking, this all sounds good, Rabbi. But what if I've already made mistakes? What if I'm already in a relationship that has some of these problems? Is it too late for me? Listen carefully. It is never too late to choose yourself. It is never too late to implement boundaries. It is never too late to course correct. If you're in a relationship that doesn't honor you, you have options. You can have honest conversations about what needs to change. You can implement boundaries and see if they're respected. You can seek counseling together, or you can leave. Yes, even at 65, even at 70, you can leave. Better to spend your remaining years alone and at peace than in a relationship that diminishes you. But here's what you cannot do. You cannot continue as things are while hoping they'll magically improve. You cannot keep giving while receiving nothing and expect that someday the balance will shift. You cannot accept mistreatment while telling yourself it's not that bad. Every day you stay in a situation that harms you, you're choosing that harm. And I say this not to blame you, but to empower you. You have agency, you have choice, and you have every right to prioritize your peace over someone else's comfort. For those of you who haven't yet met someone, who are still in the preparation phase, I want to give you a powerful practice. Create what I call a soul contract with yourself. This is a written document that outlines exactly what you will and will not accept in a relationship. Be specific. Be detailed. Include everything from how you want to be spoken to how conflicts will be handled, to what behaviors are deal breakers. Then sign it. Date it. Keep it somewhere you can refer to regularly. This contract is your covenant with your own soul. It's your promise that you will not betray yourself for the illusion of love. And when you meet someone new, you evaluate them against this contract. Do they meet these standards? Yes or no? No, maybe. No, almost. No potential to get there someday. Let me tell you about the spiritual principle of waiting well. There's a vast difference between desperate waiting and faithful waiting. Desperate waiting is anxious, grasping, willing to settle for anything that comes along. Faithful waiting is peaceful, confident, committed to standards. When you wait well, you're not passive. You're actively preparing yourself. You're healing your wounds. You're developing your spiritual capacities. You're building a life you love. You're becoming the kind of person who would attract the kind of person you want to attract. This active waiting is actually more powerful than actively searching. It creates a frequency of wholeness that naturally draws in compatible people. Here's what I want you to understand about divine timing. The right person at the wrong time is still the wrong person. Just because someone seems perfect doesn't mean they're perfect for you right now. Just because you have chemistry doesn't mean you have compatibility. Just because you want it to work doesn't mean it should work. The universe operates on principles of readiness and alignment. When you are truly ready, when you have done the inner work, when you have healed your wounds and established your boundaries and become whole within yourself, the right person will appear. Not before. And if you try to force something before you're ready, you'll just create another painful lesson. This is why I've spent so much time on preparation rather than technique. Because all the dating strategies in the world won't protect you if you haven't done the inner work. You could know every psychological trick, every communication technique, every manipulation defense. And you would still end up in painful situations if your internal frequency is broadcasting lack, need, or unworthiness. The outer world always reflects the inner world. Always. Without exception. If you want to attract healthy love, you must become healthy love. You must embody the qualities you're seeking in another. Now let me address a specific concern that many women your age carry. The fear that nobody will want you because of your age, your body, your history. This fear is a lie planted by a culture that profits from your insecurity. Yes, we live in a world that worships youth. Yes, there are men who are only interested in younger women. But these are not your men. These are not the men you want anyway. The right man for you, a spiritually mature man, a man who has done his own inner work, will value you for exactly who you are. He will see your wisdom as attractive. He will appreciate your emotional depth. He will be drawn to your authenticity. He will love your body not despite its age, but because it tells the story of a life fully lived. But here's the key. You must believe this first. You must see your own value before anyone else can see it. If you're walking around believing that you're undesirable because you're over 60, that belief will repel the very people who would love you and attract the people who will exploit your insecurity. Your belief about yourself is a self-fulfilling prophecy. So the work is not to convince yourself of something that isn't true. The work is to see the truth of your inherent worth, your unique beauty, your irreplaceable value. This is not arrogance. This is alignment with divine truth. The Creator does not make mistakes. You are here at this age, in this body, with this history, for a reason. And you are enough. Exactly as you are. Let me share with you a meditation for embodying your worth. Every evening before bed, stand in front of a mirror. Look into your own eyes. Place your hands on your heart and speak these words. I see you. I honor you. I love you. You are beautiful. You are worthy. You are enough. You have survived everything that tried to break you. You have wisdom earned through pain and perseverance. You have love to give and love to receive. You are a divine creation, sacred and irreplaceable. Say this every single night. Let yourself feel the words. Let tears come if they need to. This is not silly. This is sacred. This is how you reprogram decades of conditioning that taught you to devalue yourself. Now I need to talk about something that might make you uncomfortable. The reality that not everyone is meant to be partnered. Some souls came into this lifetime to experience deep love. Others came to experience solitude and self-sufficiency. Neither path is better or worse. They're just different. And one of the most important questions you must ask yourself is, am I genuinely called to partnership? Or am I just conditioned to believe I should want it? There's a profound difference. If you're chasing relationship because society tells you that's what you're supposed to want, because you're afraid of judgment, because you can't imagine an alternative, that's conditioning. But if, after deep reflection, you genuinely desire the intimacy, companionship, and spiritual growth that comes from sacred partnership, that's a true calling. Here's how to know the difference. Imagine your life 5 years from now, living alone, completely at peace with your solitude, surrounded by friends and family and meaningful activity. How does that image feel? Really feel into it. Does it feel like settling, or does it feel like freedom? Now imagine your life 5 years from now in a deeply loving, mutually respectful partnership. How does that feel? Does it feel like completion, or does it feel like complication? Your honest emotional response to these visions will tell you what's true for you. And whatever the answer is, honor it. Don't pursue partnership just because you think you should. Don't accept solitude just because you're afraid. Choose consciously, based on what's true for your soul. For those of you who realize that you genuinely do want partnership, here's what you must understand. The quality of relationship available to you is directly proportional to the quality of relationship you have with yourself. If you criticize yourself constantly, you will attract partners who criticize you. If you neglect your needs, you will attract partners who neglect you. If you betray yourself by ignoring your intuition, you will attract partners who betray you. This is not punishment. This is the law of spiritual correspondence. Like attracts like. So the most important relationship work you can do is not learning how to communicate better with a partner. It's learning how to be a loving partner to yourself. What does it mean to partner with yourself? It means you speak to yourself with kindness. It means you prioritize your needs without guilt. It means you trust your own wisdom. It means you celebrate your victories and comfort yourself in your struggles. It means you show up for yourself consistently, the way you would show up for someone you love. When you establish this internal partnership, when you become your own best friend, your own most reliable source of comfort and encouragement, then you're ready to invite someone else in. Not because you need them, but because you want to share your wholeness with another whole person. Let me give you a practice for partnering with yourself. Every morning, ask yourself, what do I need today? And then listen. Really listen. Maybe you need rest. Maybe you need movement. Maybe you need creativity. Maybe you need connection. Whatever the answer is, honor it. Make it a priority, even if it's inconvenient, even if it means disappointing someone else. This practice teaches you that your needs matter, that you're worth taking care of, that you can be trusted to guide your own life. Over time, this builds an unshakable foundation of self-trust that no external relationship can disrupt. Now I want to address the women who have been deeply hurt in the past, who carry trauma from previous relationships, who are terrified of being vulnerable again. First, I want to say that your fear is valid. It's not weakness, it's wisdom. Your nervous system learned that opening your heart can lead to devastation, and it's trying to protect you. Honor that. Don't shame yourself for being cautious. But also understand that there's a difference between healthy caution and defensive closure. Healthy caution is discerning. It evaluates carefully. It moves slowly, but it remains open to possibility. Defensive closure is shut down. It sees danger everywhere. It refuses to risk even when the situation is safe. If you've moved into defensive closure, you need healing before you can safely engage with relationship. Healing trauma is not something I can fully address in this teaching, but I can give you a starting point. Find a skilled therapist, ideally one trained in trauma work. There are specific modalities that can help rewire your nervous system's response to intimacy and vulnerability. This is not weakness. This is courageous. This is you taking responsibility for your own healing, rather than expecting a new partner to heal you. And here's what's beautiful. When you do this work, when you actually process and integrate your past pain, you become available for a completely different quality of relationship. You stop attracting people who mirror your wounds and start attracting people who complement your wholeness. I also want to speak to those of you who are currently alone, not by choice, but by circumstance. Maybe your husband died. Maybe you went through an unwanted divorce. Maybe you've tried to meet someone, and it just hasn't happened. The loneliness you feel is real. The grief is real. The longing for companionship is real. I'm not going to tell you to just be happy alone or that you don't need anyone. Those platitudes are useless. What I will tell you is that your worth is not determined by your relationship status. Your value does not decrease because you're unpartnered. You are not broken or defective or unlovable. Sometimes the timing just isn't right. Sometimes the right person hasn't appeared yet. Sometimes there are lessons to learn in solitude that can't be learned any other way. But here's what you can control. You can decide how you experience your solitude. You can choose to see it as punishment or as preparation. You can use this time to become bitter or to become wiser. You can allow loneliness to consume you, or you can transform it into deeper self-knowledge and spiritual connection. This is not about toxic positivity. This is about agency. You cannot control whether someone shows up in your life, but you can control how you show up for your own life. And I promise you, the quality of your internal experience will either attract or repel potential partners. A woman who has made peace with her solitude is magnetic. A woman who is desperate to escape her solitude is repellent. Now we need to talk about red flags, specific behaviors and patterns that should send you running immediately. No second chances, no benefit of the doubt. Learn these. Memorize them. Never ignore them. First red flag, love bombing. This is when someone comes on very strong, very fast. Excessive compliments, constant communication, quick declarations of love. Talking about a future together after only a few dates. This feels wonderful. It feels like you've finally found someone who sees you and values you. But it's actually a manipulation technique. It's designed to bypass your defenses and create premature bonding. Healthy love develops gradually. It's steady, not frantic. If someone is moving too fast, slow it down. And if they resist slowing down, walk away. Second red flag, inconsistency between words and actions. He says he'll call and doesn't. He makes plans and cancels. He talks about commitment but won't introduce you to his life. He says you're important but makes you feel optional. Actions always reveal truth. Words are easy. Behavior is honest. If there's a gap between what someone says and what they do, believe the behavior. every time. Third red flag, disrespect of your boundaries. You say you need a night to yourself, and he shows up anyway. You say you're not ready for physical intimacy, and he pressures you. You express a preference, and he argues or dismisses it. This is not passion. This is control. And it always escalates. Fourth red flag, bad-mouthing exes. If he describes every woman he's ever been with as crazy, unreasonable, vindictive, or inferior, that's not evidence that he had bad luck. That's evidence that he lacks accountability. It's a preview of how he'll describe you after your relationship ends. Fifth red flag, isolation attempts. Slowly, subtly, he tries to separate you from your support system. He doesn't like your friends. He creates drama around family events. He wants all your time and attention. This is classic abusive behavior. It's designed to make you dependent on him for all emotional support. No healthy partner tries to separate you from your community. Sixth red flag, financial secrecy or inappropriate requests. He won't talk openly about his financial situation, or he asks to borrow money, or he suggests moving in together to save money, or he has elaborate stories about temporary financial problems. These are all warning signs of someone who is looking for a source of income, not a partner. Seventh red flag, substance issues. If he's drinking every day, if he gets defensive when you mention his consumption, if his personality changes when he's drinking, you're dealing with an addiction. And you cannot love someone into sobriety. You cannot fix this. You can only get dragged down by it. Eighth red flag, control issues. He has strong opinions about what you wear, how you spend your time, who you talk to, what you eat, how you manage your money. He frames this as caring about you, but it's actually about controlling you. Healthy partners respect your autonomy. They trust your judgment. They celebrate your independence. Ninth red flag, emotional volatility. He's wonderful one day and cold the next. You never know which version of him you're going to get. This unpredictability is crazy-making. It keeps you off balance, always trying to please him, always walking on eggshells. This is not complexity. This is dysfunction. 10th red flag, lack of empathy. When you express hurt or need, he becomes defensive, dismissive, or turns it around to make himself the victim. He never takes responsibility for his impact on you. He never truly apologizes. He expects you to constantly accommodate his feelings while he ignores yours. This is emotional immaturity at best, narcissism at worst. Either way, it's a relationship that will slowly kill your spirit. If you see any of these red flags, I don't care how much you like him. I don't care how good the chemistry is. I don't care how long you've been alone. You must end it immediately. Not after giving him one more chance. Not after having a conversation about it. Not after seeing if he can change. Immediately. These patterns do not improve. They escalate. And at your age, you don't have time or energy to waste on someone who is showing you clearly that they will hurt you. Believe people when they show you who they are. The first time. Now let me give you the flip side. Green flags, signs that someone is actually safe and worth investing in. First green flag, consistency. He does what he says he'll do. He shows up when he says he will. His words and actions align. You feel like you can count on him. Second green flag, respect for your boundaries. When you express a limit, he honors it without making you explain or justify. He appreciates that you know and articulate your needs. Third green flag, emotional maturity. He can talk about his feelings without drama. He can hear about your feelings without getting defensive. He takes responsibility when he makes mistakes. He apologizes sincerely and changes his behavior. Fourth green flag, integration. He wants you to meet his people. He's interested in meeting yours. He makes space for you in his life. He includes you in his plans. He's not hiding you or compartmentalizing you. Fifth green flag: mutual respect. He values your opinions even when he disagrees. He's interested in your thoughts, your experiences, your perspective. He treats you as an equal, not as someone he needs to manage or fix or save. Sixth green flag: healthy communication. He can have difficult conversations without attacking or shutting down. He's willing to work through conflicts. He sees disagreements as opportunities to understand each other better, not as threats to the relationship. Seventh green flag: financial transparency. He's open about his financial situation. He has his own resources. He never asks you for money. He respects your financial independence and maintains his own. Eighth green flag: emotional availability. He's done his own healing work. He's processed his past. He's not still entangled with an ex. He has room in his heart for a new relationship. He's genuinely available, not just technically single. Ninth green flag: growth orientation. He's curious about himself. He's interested in becoming a better person. He asks for feedback. He admits when he doesn't know something. He sees life as a learning journey, not a fixed state. 10th green flag: peaceful presence. You feel calm around him. You feel like yourself. You don't have to perform or manage or hide. Your nervous system feels safe. This is perhaps the most important green flag of all. If you feel more relaxed, more authentic, more at peace when he's around than when he's not, that's your soul telling you this person is good for you. Trust that feeling more than any logic or rationality. Now I want to share with you the ultimate test for whether someone is worthy of your time and heart. It's very simple, but devastatingly effective. After you've been seeing someone for 3 months, ask yourself this question: does my life feel better or worse since this person entered it? Not more exciting, not less lonely. Better or worse? Are you sleeping better or worse? Is your health better or worse? Are your other relationships better or worse? Is your peace of mind better or worse? Is your sense of self better or worse? If the honest answer is worse in any significant way, end it immediately. Because a relationship that makes your life worse is not worth having, regardless of how much potential it seems to have. Let me tell you what happens in a truly healthy relationship at this stage of life. You both have full lives that you love. You come together not out of need, but out of desire to share your fullness. You enhance each other without requiring each other. You have your own interests, your own friends, your own rhythms, and you also create shared experiences that bring joy to both of you. You can be together and feel free. You can be apart and feel connected. There's no possessiveness, no jealousy, no control. There's just two people who genuinely like each other, respect each other, and choose each other daily. In a healthy, mature relationship, conflicts are handled with care. You both assume good intent. You both take responsibility for your part. You both prioritize resolution over being right. You both have the humility to apologize and the grace to forgive. You both understand that you're imperfect humans doing your best, and you extend compassion to each other's struggles. There's no contempt, no criticism, no stonewalling, no defensiveness. Just honest communication, mutual respect, and genuine desire to understand each other. In a healthy, mature relationship, you both maintain your individual growth. You support each other's development. You celebrate each other's wins. You comfort each other in losses. But you're not enmeshed. You're not codependent. You're not trying to save each other or complete each other. You're whole people who enhance each other's wholeness. This is what mature love looks like. This is what's worth waiting for. This is what you must not settle for anything less than. And here's what I need you to understand. This kind of relationship is absolutely possible for you. It doesn't matter if you're 60 or 70 or 80. It doesn't matter what your body looks like, or how much money you have, or what your history is. This level of love is available to anyone who does the inner work, maintains their standards, and refuses to settle. But it requires patience. It requires faith. It requires you to value yourself enough to walk away from anything that doesn't meet the standard. And that's the hardest part, not finding the right person, but having the strength to refuse the wrong person when you're lonely and scared and desperate for connection. This is where most women fail. They meet someone who's 70% right, and they convince themselves that 70% is good enough. Nobody's perfect, they say. I'm not getting any younger, they say. Maybe this is as good as it gets, they say. And they settle. And then they spend whatever years they have left trying to make 70% feel like 100. Trying to fill the 30% gap with effort and optimism and denial. And it never works. 70% stays 70. Or it becomes 60%. Or 50. But it never becomes 100. Because you cannot transform incompatibility into compatibility. You cannot love someone into being who they're not. So here's what you must commit to. You must promise yourself that you will never settle. That you will hold your standards even when it's hard. Even when you're lonely. Even when everyone around you is telling you to be more realistic. Even when you start to wonder if you're being too picky. Your standards are not too high. They're protecting you from wasting your precious time on people and situations that will diminish you. Every time you're tempted to lower your standards, remember everything I've told you today. Remember the dangers. Remember the cost. Remember that settling is not kindness. It's betrayal. Betrayal of yourself, and actually betrayal of the other person too. Because you're pretending to be satisfied when you're not. Now I want to speak directly to your soul, to the deepest part of you that knows truth. You have spent your entire life giving to others, raising children, supporting a spouse, building a career, caring for aging parents, serving your community. You have poured yourself out again and again. And now, finally, you're in a phase where you get to choose for yourself, where you get to prioritize yourself, where you get to ask the question, what do I want? And actually let the answer matter. Do not waste this gift. Do not squander this opportunity by giving yourself away to someone who doesn't deserve you. You are precious. You are valuable. You are worthy of love that celebrates you, respects you, honors you. You are worthy of a partner who sees you and chooses you and treats you like the treasure you are. Do not accept less. Do not convince yourself that less is enough. It's not. And somewhere in your soul, you know this. You know that you deserve more. Trust that knowing. Follow that truth. Even if it means being alone. Because being alone with your integrity intact is better than being partnered with your soul compromised. I want to leave you with a final teaching, a blessing of sorts. The Kabbalistic tradition teaches that every soul has a bashert, a divinely ordained match. But it also teaches that finding your bashert requires you to become who you're meant to be. You must complete your soul correction. You must heal your wounds. You must align with your highest self. When you do this work, when you become the fullest expression of your soul, your bashert will appear. Not before, The universe waits until you're ready. It waits until you've learned the lessons. It waits until you can receive what you're asking for, without destroying yourself with it. So if you haven't met your person yet, don't despair. Use this time. Prepare yourself. Heal yourself. Complete yourself. Know that every day of solitude is not wasted. It's preparation. It's refinement. It's the universe getting you ready for what's coming. And trust that when the timing is right, when you are ready, when the person is ready, the meeting will happen effortlessly, naturally, divinely. You won't have to force it. You won't have to chase it. It will simply unfold as it's meant to. This is not magical thinking. This is spiritual law. And it has never failed anyone who truly committed to their own healing and growth. For those of you who are currently in relationship, evaluate honestly whether it meets the standards I've outlined today. If it does, treasure it. Nurture it. Protect it. Never take it for granted. Show gratitude daily for the gift of true partnership. And continue doing your individual work so that you remain worthy of what you've been given. But if your current relationship doesn't meet these standards, if you're in something that diminishes you, you have a decision to make. You can stay and slowly disappear, or you can leave and reclaim yourself. I cannot make that decision for you. But I can tell you that you are strong enough to do what needs to be done. You have survived everything life has thrown at you so far. You can survive this too. Remember, you are not a victim of your circumstances. You are the creator of your experience. Every choice you make either moves you toward wholeness or away from it. Every day you choose yourself or abandon yourself. Every interaction either honors your worth or betrays it. You have all the power you need to create a life of dignity, peace, and authentic love. But you must use that power. You must stop waiting to be rescued and become your own rescuer. You must stop hoping someone else will validate you and become your own validator. You must stop seeking completion outside yourself and recognize that you are always complete. This is the deepest truth of Kabbalah. You are a spark of the divine. You are made of the same substance as the Creator. You contain within you infinite worth, infinite capacity, infinite potential. When you truly know this, when you live from this truth, everything changes. You stop accepting crumbs. You stop tolerating disrespect. You stop settling for anything less than you deserve. Because you know, in every cell of your being, that you are sacred. And the sacred cannot be compromised. So go now. Take what I've given you today and apply it. Do the practices. Maintain the boundaries. Trust the process. And know that I am with you in spirit, guiding you, protecting you, cheering you on as you step into this next chapter of your life. You are capable of more than you know. You are stronger than you believe. You are worthy of everything beautiful. Never forget this. Never let anyone convince you otherwise. And never, ever settle for less than your soul deserves. Amen.